Effective April 1st, 2022, fully vaccinated travelers will no longer be required to complete a pre-entry test for travel to Canada.
Canada begins dropping some of these strict border measures put in place to prevent importation of new COVID-19 cases. Starting next month, travelers entering Canada who are fully vaccinated with 2 doses of vaccine can enter without a test. A welcome relief for Canada's travel and tourism sector.
We're not really going to see a full return to international markets until it's wide open travel again, and other restrictions are lifted. But this is a great first start. And I think it's a sign of optimism that we're headed finally in the right direction.
In Thunder Bay, Ontario, international visitors normally make up about 37% of tourists, mostly Americans. But because they stay longer and spend more money than Canadians, they make up nearly half of all tourism revenue, about $90 million worth. For the entire region of northwestern Ontario, the loss of international travel was even bigger.
With over 400 fishing and wilderness resorts in northwest Ontario, the economic impact was a lot greater, and where 90% of their market is American or international overall. So the value was about $230 million in terms of what was lost across the whole district.
It's not just local tourism breathing a sigh of relief. Travel agents say the added logistics and cost of testing put a damper on Canadian attitudes to traveling overseas.
It's just painful to come back to find somewhere to do it, and the cost. I think that's what's going to make a big difference to, maybe thinking about going to Disneyland for spring break and you're there with 4 kids. The reason you're not going is because it's going to cost you $600 just to get testing.
But the federal government says it's very aware of the possibility of yet another wave of COVID and isn't ruling out reintroducing border restrictions if necessary.
We'll have seen over the last months, we keep following the situation and change and adjust the rules as required, taking into account both the domestic and the international situation.
Now, some vaccinated travelers will still be randomly selected for testing when they enter Canada, and unvaccinated travelers will still be tested on entry and 8 days after arrival. In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.